Hey everybody, welcome to a new hashtag hype session. This video is being brought to you through my LinkedIn channel as well as streamed through the Instagram TV channel at Startup Hype Man, with the audio being shared on Startup Hype Man, the podcast. Today in our hashtag hype session, I am welcoming to the microphone Kate Porfilio. Kate is the case study copywriter. She writes case studies to turn client successes into irresistible stories that sell. She's distilled 17 years as a marketer, copywriter, and designer to create her case study method that has one end goal in mind, and that is more sales. Kate, welcome to this hashtag hype session.
Glad to be here, Raj. Thanks so much.
Let's dive right into it. Why do we need case studies? What's the big deal here?
Well, they are, in my opinion, the most powerful and versatile sales asset that a business can have, particularly B2B.
Yeah, we often hear like, oh, you need good case studies, right? You need to have good customer stories. But I think there's having customer success, and then there's being able to actually take that success and convert it into a narrative, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And there's a saying that facts tell, but stories sell. So data is really important, but our brains are hardwired to remember stories and retell stories. So that narrative is really important relative to telling our customer success stories.
So let's dive into that a little bit more. What are the elements that need to come together to create a good case study story?
Yeah, there's actually a few different aspects of that. There is the how to get them right, which relates to the strategy, and then there's the actual format component. So relative to what's the formula for a good case study is starting with strategy, understanding where you want to go and how you want to use that case study, uncovering the right candidates, getting buy-in, research, running a great interview, writing a really great story, and then putting them to work. So that's kind of the strategy side. And then you have the writing side, which relates to the customer background. Who are they? Where did they come from? Where are they going? The challenge that they were facing, the journey that they went on, the discovery of the solution, all the way to the implementation, and then what the actual results were.
Let's talk about that research component a little bit more, because let me ask you in this way. Why can we not just get away with being like, well, we know how well they did. They told us how well they did. We're set. Why do we need to also talk to them as well?
There's a couple different components to that. One is there's nothing more powerful than the words of your customer. And it's definitely different than you saying what your customer thinks. And when you actually do an interview, you have an opportunity to uncover things that you may not have had any idea about. So really, to me, the interview is probably one of the most important components of a case study. And that is the interview of, in my instance, my client, to understand what their objectives are, and then their client, because the key is to actually tie those two things together. So with an interview, you actually get candid answers, and it really uncovers hidden gems that you might not otherwise have been able to see.
Now, from what you've observed in what companies are doing when they try to put together their own case studies, um, is there one or two areas where you see like consistent misses, or they're just like lacking?
Yes, definitely. One area is where the case study tends to focus too much on them versus their client. And a good case study is actually going to put your client as the hero of the story. So that's one thing that can tend to happen when you write your own case study. And the other is that sometimes they miss that narrative arc where they actually have the story because it's one-sided. So you don't have the depth and breadth of a story if you just kind of assume that you know both sides of the story.
Right, right. We are on our hype session today with Kate Porfilio, the case study copywriter. You are checking this out through LinkedIn, Instagram TV, as well as the Startup Hype Man podcast feed. And by the way, this is our work from home edition of the hashtag hype session. So Kate, a few more questions for you. Can you speak to maybe your favorite example of a case study that you've built out for a company?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think probably my favorite in general is when there's a really great relationship between my client and their client. And you can just tell that there's this synergy. And recently I interviewed, my client was an EQMS company, so they did quality management systems. And their client was one of the largest cannabis producers in the world. And I spoke with the CIO at the cannabis company, and he was so appreciative and complimentary of my client, and just really knew just the ins and outs of the whole project, and the successes, and even some of the challenges. And that was just really a great experience to one, be just so happy that my client did such a great job for their clients. So that's, I guess, as a case study writer and interview, you actually kind of get these really fun hidden insights on both sides of two different companies.
Yeah, it's almost like you can hear it in their voice. You can hear them smiling if if you're not seeing them and you're on the phone, you can hear
Yes,
them smiling, right?
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, so tell me then, the last question here before we kind of wrap things up is, what are like the different use cases that a startup could take with a case study, like, with a case study in hand? What are the different ways they could use that?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's actually a bunch of different ways that you can use a case study. You can definitely use them really at any stage of your sales and marketing funnel, because a case study is like the Leatherman of sales and marketing materials. You can actually take that and pull out testimonials. You can pull out key phrases. You can use them on your website. You can use them for venture capital. There's like so many uses for a case study. If there were one asset to have, that would be it, because it can be repurposed in so many ways, and it's also evergreen. So it never goes out of style in that sense.
Where can our listeners get in touch with you and learn more?
I am at thecasestudycopywriter.com, and I'm also on LinkedIn at Catherine Porfilio, and I welcome you to connect with me on that platform.
My final question for you, fill in the blank. Entrepreneurship is blank.
Liberating.
Liberating. I like it. Entrepreneurship is liberating. She is Kate Porfilio, the case study copywriter. My name is Raj Nation, founder of Startup Hype Man. You have been tuning into a hype session where we have lightning chats with people who support the startup ecosystem, like Kate. Thank you for checking us out, and be sure to catch all the future hype sessions as well as all episodes of Startup Hype Man, the podcast, by tuning in through the Startup Hype Man podcast feed, available on Spotify, iTunes, and wherever you find your podcasts. Plus, connect with me on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/Rajiv Nathan, and find us on Instagram at Startup Hype Man. Thank you once again, Kate, for joining. Hype Man out. Word up, raise up.